Good morning, everyone. How are you? So today we're talking about intuitive eating and how meal prep can help you with this process. So I'm Kelsie Michaud, and I help people to just gain control of emotional eating to feel healthy and confident as they make peace with food and their body. So as a reminder, I am available this week. I have actually 3 spots left to end out this week for some complimentary consultations. So if you'd like to jump into one of those spots, just let me know. You can PM me, you can leave it in the comments, and we can just jump on the phone for about 30 minutes or so and see about taking you from where you are now to where you'd like to go. So let's start with a reminder of how diets don't work. And when I say don't work, I mean that they make us unhappy. You know, the results, they don't stick, and they only sabotage our relationship with food and our bodies. We know that. I mean, that sounds about right? Do you agree? If this resonates with you, let me know. Leave, type a yes in the comments for me. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to actually break down eating and the health approach for anyone who is just completely over dieting like I am. So that means we're going to talk about intuitive eating. And just so that you're aware, it's not about whether, whatever you want to eat. It goes a lot deeper than that. A lot of people hear or feel like when you can just eat intuitively, you can just eat whatever you want. And like I said, it goes so much deeper than that. Because intuitive eating is actually based on the idea that if we can be healthy when we listen to our bodies, instead of, tracking foods to get to a level of health or a specific look, that your body can never sustain, taking on intuitive eating means that you are creating this healthy relationship with food and your body and your mind by just completely detaching yourself from, that diet mentality. Hi, Lynn. How are you today? Thanks for coming on. So I know that, it may, maybe you're thinking, okay, so I just listen to my body and eat whatever it tells me to. Well, kind of, but it's not exactly that simple. So I'd like to talk to you about the actual rules for intuitive eating. And the thing is that there are no rules. So to be honest with you, dieting is actually easier than eating intuitively because there's a set amount of rules that you have to follow, and they're very clear. So, they say, don't eat this, just eat that, and expect these results in 21 days. And, that's pretty much all a diet is. Hi, Antoinette. Good morning. How are you today? Thanks for hopping on with us. So, intuitive eating, it's more about listening to your internal cues on top of it does look different for everyone, and that's the whole point, because everybody's unique and we all have our bodies work so differently with different foods. So one person, the way they eat intuitively is not going to work the same for someone else. So it's a matter of finding what works for you and really just listening to yourself and listening to your body and how it feels and what it's trying to tell you. So there's 10 principles of intuitive eating to be aware of that can really help guide you through your journey. So number 1 is you got to reject that diet mentality, like I was just talking about, and it's a no-win situation. This means making a conscious effort to actually stop seeing food as good or bad. And you want to get rid of the idea that you have to be on a diet or constantly working to lose weight, no matter what size you are. Once you get that in your mind and you let go of that diet mentality, then that can be incredibly liberating. So that can make you feel so good and so free and so much lighter, like you don't have that weight, figuratively speaking, weighing on you anymore. And you want to make sure that you're honoring your hunger. This comes into play with listening to your body and how you're feeling. So the diet mentality that we're working to just reject and get out of our heads, get it out of our system, it's telling us to not eat when we're hungry and to stop eating before we're really full, because diets make us restrict ourselves. So with intuitive eating, we stop all of this, and instead we're honoring our hunger and we're honoring our fullness. And hunger cues are just a biological function that tells your body when it needs more fuel. So, and next you want to make peace with food. So food is your friend. Food fuels us. We need it to live. So do you ever feel like you're actually at war with food? Like every meal is just like this anxiety-ridden experience. You're thinking about, you have to think about your protein, you have to think about your carbs and your fats and all your calories. And then you question if you're eating, is it really even good for you? Making peace with food puts an end to all of that. And it's so freeing. And instead of worrying about every little bite, instead you trust your body, and your body will tell you what foods that it likes and it doesn't like, not just in terms of taste, but in terms of what makes you feel good. Hi Barbie, hi Tabitha, thanks for coming on. So number 4, you want to challenge the food police. And by this, I mean, the food police, it's that little voice in your head that tries to tell you when you can and when you can't eat. Hi Sharon. And it reminds you that you can only have dessert if you don't drink a glass of wine, or the food police is actually that reason why you're always buying those skinny lattes at Starbucks, or it's time to quiet that voice and actually get rid of that. Get rid of that voice in your head for good. All that self-talk. It's really negative self-talk that's going on a lot of times too. Hi Judy. And what's amazing about actually challenging the food police in your head, once that voice is gone, you have no reason to break the rules or fall off track, because there are no rules. So there's no wagon to actually fall off of. So number 5, you want to respect your fullness. And by the way, if you have any questions at all as I'm going along about any of the content I'm covering, please let me know. Just pop it in the comments for me and I'll get to them. So number 5, respect your fullness. So the concept of fullness on a scale of 1 to 10 here. So with 10, you are, you're so full, you couldn't possibly eat anymore. And like you feel like you're so stuffed that you feel like you have to unbutton your pants, which you don't want to get to. And you want to, respect your fullness. And that means developing a sense of your own fullness levels and deciding on whether you want to eat more, or should you stop at a point of where you're feeling this just comfortable satiation at that point. And most of the time, not because you should be stopping, not because you should, but because it feels good to you at that point. You feel satiated, you feel nourished, but you're not feeling like you've gone overboard. So once you become aware of your body's fullness levels, then you can realize that eating past that point of being full, all the time, it's just so uncomfortable, and it's just a feeling that you don't enjoy and you don't want to continue with. And not only do you not enjoy it and not feel good physically, but then mentally you don't feel good either, because now you're beating yourself up for going past that point. So those are just those cues to really hone in on and pay attention to how your body is feeling, and stop when it's full and feeling good, rather than too full and feeling uncomfortable and just not good mentally or physically. And number 6, you want to discover that satisfaction factor. So this is one of the more difficult ones with intuitive eating, but basically it means that you're learning what foods will actually satisfy you. So there's a lot to be actually unlearned here. So that's because you could find something that, say, like a bag of chocolate chip cookies, maybe that was only satisfying when you weren't allowed. Maybe those were only, I'm not sure if I said weren't, but maybe those were only satisfying to you when they were not allowed, okay? And then just like, let me give you an example. Like there's some, I have some chocolate Hershey Kisses that are sitting in a bowl on my counter right now. And knowing that I can have one anytime I want, well, that takes that they're not so appealing anymore. It takes it away from it. And this can take some time for you. But I mean, because I've been doing this for years and not depriving myself of anything and just enjoying that, this can, it takes time. And after, some practice, of course, like with anything, you may reach for that chocolate or the cookies or whatever's tripping your trigger, and then you may realize that you don't even actually love them like you thought you did. Or you might learn what actually satisfies you for real, and that takes time. But it takes time, and it takes practice, and it takes mindfulness. Hi, Nan, how are you? Thanks for coming on. And number 7, you got to honor your feelings without using food. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, how the heck do I do that? This one is huge. This is a huge factor here. So, between my clients and the people that I have conversations with on a regular basis, they struggle with emotional eating. And intuitive eating encourages us to feel our feelings without reaching for food as our coping mechanism. So that could be something like learning to just sit with our feelings, sit with your sadness, talk to a friend, do something creative, go out for a walk, whatever works for you, something that is going to make you feel good other than turning to food. And that may take some time too to even think about that. Take a moment for yourself and say, okay, what are some of the things that I do enjoy that make me feel good when I'm not in the best space, or I'm not feeling the best, or I'm a little stressed? What's something that makes me feel good other than food? So when you think about those and you start doing those other things, that's going to trip that circuitry in your brain to automatically start doing those other things instead. You need to rewire your brain from automatically going for food when you're upset or stressed or anxious or sad, or sometimes we even eat out of just being happy. But you want to rewire that brain connection so that that's not your first instinct to go to. So as soon as you start doing something else that you enjoy instead of turning to food, that's when you're starting to rewire those triggers in your brain. And the more that you practice doing something else, the more you're going to rewire your brain to go that way. Okay, does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions. And I'm going to move on to number 8, which is to respect your body. So, I think this one is one of my favorites, because respecting your body equals just accepting your body and knowing that your self-worth has nothing to do with your size. Intuitive eating, it helps us to get to the size that our bodies were actually meant to be. So, that's where your body's going to get to where it's totally comfortable. And that could be smaller or bigger than you are now, but it's up to you to find that love from within and where your body actually finds that happy weight. And number 9, you want to feel the difference. There are actually people out there who think that when you eat intuitively, you're giving up other things, like you're giving up exercise. No. When you practice intuitive eating, you practice exercise that you actually enjoy doing. So you're not exercising, like the purpose is to actually move in a way that your body feels good, the way that you enjoy. That means you should be doing movements that you like, that not something that you're going to dread. So don't think of exercise as like a chore or something that you really don't want to have to do, but you're going to struggle through it anyway. So you want to try to do something that will actually make a difference for you, that will affect you on the outside, just like how it makes you feel good on the inside. So for me, that's going to the gym, lifting weights, and mixing it up with some cardio machines. And I especially enjoy getting outside and going for like a run or a hike or just a nice walk. Those are all the things that I really enjoy and I look forward to. That's the kind of movement my body craves, whether it's just getting down on the floor doing some stretching or some yoga for you, or maybe you enjoy the same things I enjoy. Whatever that is for your body needs that movement. Okay, so you want to give your body that way to feel good as well. So just another opportunity for your body to feel good. And mentally too, it's going to help you feel good mentally as well. Exercise is not just a physical thing, it's also a mental improvement. I can't think of the right word I'm looking for, but anyway, so it's going to help you both mentally and physically, bottom line. And number 10, let's honor our health, because intuitive eating does not mean giving up our health either. You still want to make nutrition choices that are both healthy and taste good, that you enjoy. So overall, your food choices should be making you feel good, and there's no falling off track with intuitive eating, because there's no good or bad food, but it's just food with different purposes. So some foods will actually, they fuel you and they give you, your body, like all the nutrients that it needs, and some foods are just eaten for pleasure. But both are necessary for you to just, I mean, they can both be really good and delicious, but they're both so necessary, because eating like fruits and veggies, it never has to be boring, but by incorporating a little bit of everything, you're keeping your mind and your body balanced, and your body is always looking for balance. And I want to point out here too that there's a reason why nutrition is last on this list, because this is about your relationship with food. A lot of people tell me they don't know what's healthy, and diet culture is actually to blame here, because it puts a fear on food, and it puts a lack of trust in ourselves. So intuitive eating does the exact opposite, and eating healthy is so much more simple than the nutrition and diet industry actually make it out to be. So you'll feel great if you really just listen and tune in to your body. So intuitive eating is not about eating whatever you want. It's about eating what your body needs, and being able to actually hone in on that without your brain getting in the way, to question your decisions, so you're not second guessing yourself. And sometimes your body will actually need a huge bowl of veggies, and sometimes it needs some pizza or sushi or some ice cream. But, I love eating intuitively, because no foods are off limits. And when you allow yourself to have anything you want, that former rebellious appeal of like all the junk food just disappears, because you can have it anytime, right? So when you free your mind of all that diet BS, that's, it's all been stuck in your head for so long, I'm sure, then you'll find that you can actually use your own brain power for other things. So, for me, intuitive eating it's just made food so much more fun instead of something to fear. And that's what, I want you to feel as well. And I want you to feel confident in your choices, in all of your food choices. And I want you to know that you're on it every day. Like you really don't even have to think about it, because you're just going on how your body feels. So you don't have to think about, okay, how many calories am I having today? Do I have to count this or weigh this or measure that? You get to make the rules. So I want to turn this into how actually meal prep fits into all of this. It fits into intuitive eating and how it can help you increase your success as well. So, I get the question a lot. It seems that meal prep is like a very rigid way of eating, but it's not that way, especially when you combine the practice of meal prepping with your intuitive eating. So the actual purpose of meal prep is to just give yourself some really easy access to the foods that make you feel your best, especially when you have a busy week or you barely even have time to think. So meal prep is definitely not about dieting or weight loss or being rigid or anything like that. I believe meal prep is, it actually helps you build trust with food. And by making meals yourself every week, you can really kind of just test and experiment with different foods, intentionally, instead of making these decisions just kind of like on the fly. So by making this, I encourage you and I always encourage all my clients as well to prep the meals that they need like really quickly, and especially that you want to save money on. It helps you save money too. Or if you're just feeling a little too lazy to meal prep, to cook something from scratch, this will help you get you on the right track for success. And that could be something like a fast breakfast when you're running out the door, or a healthy lunch at work. That's less expensive than, stopping for a sandwich or a burrito bowl or something, somewhere. And it's like a fast dinner when say if you're too tired to cook, you have something quick to pull from the fridge. Hi, Stacy, how are you? So, meal prep, it's about making your life so much easier. It's not about, yes, you have to give up a little bit of time to actually prepare the meals or the foods, but in the long run, it's so much more worth it because it makes the rest of your days or the rest of your week so much easier, and it saves you so much time. So you give up that little bit of time, but it's really saving you time in the end if you think about it that way. Okay, and it also, there's another misconception about meal prep that you have to prep every day, and you don't. Like I said, you give up a little time maybe on a Sunday, or you choose your day, and then it's going to make you so much happier that you did that, because you're going to have your meals or your snacks or your foods to just pull from. They're just right there. So you could prep 3 meals in advance for a week to cut down on cooking time, or you could just prep meals for the weekend to save money. That's completely up to you how you want to figure it out and how it's going to fit within your lifestyle. And to me, that's freedom right there. It goes hand in hand with the mental freedom from food and the food police that are always in your head, and the freedom from the diet culture that intuitive eating approach gives us. So for myself, what I do is I usually cook. I think I cook like twice a week, because what I make enough of it that I plan out how many days it's going to last. It's going to last at least 3 days, and then I'll cook again once that's over. So really, I only have to cook twice a week because I've planned it all out. So when I go grocery shopping, which is key here too, you want to know what those meals are going to be. So think about it ahead of time. Okay, what meal am I going to make? Or what I usually think, okay, what 2 meals am I going to make this week? And I plan it out in my head, get it on my grocery list, and then I'm good to go for the week. There's only 2 nights I have to set aside time to actually cook. The other nights, I'm just heating stuff up for us because it's already there to pull from. And as far as like things like fresh fruit and fresh veggies, I always have cut up or ready in the fridge for us as well to just grab from. Quick, easy snacks. Always have hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. Those are a great protein to grab from. They're always prepared, always there. And what else? Some grilled chicken. I have a Foreman grill. Just grill up some chicken. That's in the fridge to grab from too. So you can make all different meals with that too, or just have it as a snack, or add some protein to a meal that might be a little lacking in protein. So many different ways and so many different ideas that you can meal prep, and what works for you and for the way your life is. Okay. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can reach out to me. You can PM me too. So let's talk about how to start actually practicing this intuitive eating. So you may or may not be ready to take on like all of these principles that I just mentioned. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Thanks for coming on. But, you might not want to do it right away, like all of it all together, because that can be overwhelming. I get that. And that's okay. But this is a long-term approach to food that you will end up developing over time. And intuitive eating is actually, it's less about just eating whatever you want, and it's more about like shutting off that part of your brain that freaks out whenever you eat a cookie. Okay, so you won't have that anymore, but it will take time, because when you first start doing that, you're gonna think, I shouldn't be having this. But the more you do it over time, if you can just have one, if there's a brownie, if you want to have a brownie on a random Wednesday afternoon, have a brownie, but you're not going to sit there and eat the whole pan. I hope you're not going to sit there and eat the whole pan, but that's the point. If you want to have it, because if you keep restricting yourself and keep telling yourself you can't have it, or it's a like forbidden food, you're going to want it that much more. That's just how the brain and body works. So if you want to have something, have it. Have a little bit. Have it in moderation. But know that you can have it anytime you want. And that takes that away from it. So you take the power back from that food. Okay? And the best way to begin is like start writing down all of your beliefs about your food and your health. And then when you're thinking all these negative thoughts, after you write them down, get rid of them. Okay, you say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is forbidden. I can't have that. I'm not good enough. Get rid of all those thoughts. And literally, intuitive eating means unlearning everything that's been told to you about food and what's good and what's bad and the whole diet culture, and that you have to lose weight and constantly work towards being healthy. And of course, there's an awareness to this because you need to become aware of how your body feels after eating certain foods, and try to ignore your thoughts when it's telling you that you shouldn't be doing something, or feeling like you're doing something wrong. And you know those voices in your head, that says, oh, but this cookie is full of sugar, or you better eat your vegetables first, things like that. So you want to just shut that food police right out. And I know it can definitely seem scary, but when you're ready to really start and just jump right in, it's important to eat just whatever you want first. And it's normal to maybe gain a little bit of weight in this period, but don't freak out. It's just a time that it's completely normal, and it's a time where, like, focusing on foods that you've been depriving yourself of and restricting for just so long. But then after a while, those foods won't trip your trigger anymore, as much as they did in previously. And they won't feel so off limits anymore. And it's it won't be like a special, it won't seem so special anymore, and your body will just naturally gravitate towards the healthier foods, and your weight will then level off where it's supposed to be. And like I said, I know it can be scary at first, but you have to trust the process. You got to stick with it and trust that process. And at the end of the day, intuitive eating means just eating like a regular human, being the regular human being that you are. And it's a journey that will never end, because what your body needs, it will change. The needs that you have, like, they change as you get older. So the sooner you accept that, you'll have this, like, happier, healthier life if you become aware of what your body needs and honoring that, the better. So I hope this was really helpful for you. And remember to share if you know someone else who you think might find this helpful. And I am available for complimentary consultations, and that's where we can jump on the phone and then dive deep into your own health and weight goals, and figure out maybe if you're feeling a little stuck, if you're confused or just frustrated. And I can show you how I can take you from where you are now to where you'd like to go. And I have 3 spots open at the moment for the rest of this week. So like I said, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave them for me. And let me just check. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. Okay. Antoinette said principles 7 and 8 are my most valuable. I absolutely agree, Antoinette, absolutely. And Sharon says, absolutely, I need to know when to stop before I eat too much. Yes. Honoring our fullness is, first of all, we got to start with honoring our hunger before we even get to honoring our fullness. Because if we wait too long to eat when we start to feel hungry, then you get past just feeling hungry. Then you're feeling ravenous, or that hangry that we all know. And then we know what's going to happen. We're going to overeat or not make the best choices at that point, because we are just so hungry that our brain isn't really thinking right at that point, because we're like, oh, I need food, I'm starving. So you don't even want to get yourself to that point. So on a scale of 1 to 10, when you're starting to feel hungry at like a 1 or 2, you're at the bottom of that scale, your body's giving you signals, okay, I'm starting to feel a little hungry. It's time to eat. Time to fuel your body. It's that at that point you need to put some food in your body. Then while you're eating, you want to stop at like a 7 or so. You don't want to get all the way to that 10. 10 is so full. I'm so stuffed. I need to unbutton my pants. I can't take it. I feel gross. I feel sick. Now I feel guilty, and it starts that cycle all over again. You don't want to get there. You want to stop by like a number 7 or so. You're full. You certainly want to eat to fullness, but that's it. You want to stop right there. You want to be full and satiated and feel good and nourished. And that is going to make all the difference for your reaching for your goals and towards your success. Okay. So, like I said, I hope this was helpful, and I think I got everything, and I am going to hop off and continue with the rest of my day. But I hope you all have a very beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.